Education is the foundation of liberation. If we want to build a truly united and powerful Africa, we must start with how we teach our children. For too long, African education has been shaped by colonial systems designed not to empower us, but to control us. Today, the challenge before us is clear. We must create a Pan-African education system that reflects our history, our values, and our future. The problem with most African schools is not the absence of education, but the absence of African-centered education. Children grow up knowing Shakespeare, but not Chinua Achebe. They learn about European explorers, but never about Mansa Musa, Nzinga, or the walls of Benin. They memorize foreign histories while forgetting their own. This is not an accident, it is a design meant to detach Africans from their identity. But Pan-African education is about changing this narrative. It is about teaching African children that they are heirs to great civilizations, cultures, and inventions. It is about instilling pride, critical thinking, and a sense of unity across borders. Imagine a classroom where children learn Kiswahili alongside English or French, where they study the strategies of Kwame Nkrumah and Thomas Sankara, and where mathematics is taught with examples from African architecture and trade. This is the future of education we must build. Homeschooling and community-based education are powerful tools in this journey. Parents do not have to wait for governments to change curricula. They can begin at home. A parent can teach their child African history through storytelling, music, and films. They can introduce Pan-African heroes and heroines, discuss traditional African values of community and respect, and expose children to African art, languages, and spirituality. Across the diaspora, homeschooling is already being used as a form of resistance. Many African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, and Afro-Brazilians are teaching their children Black history and culture at home, because they understand that mainstream schools often ignore or distort it. The same must happen across Africa. We can create networks of Pan-African homeschooling where families share resources, books, and online classes that center Africa in the learning process. Technology makes this vision possible. Imagine a Pan-African online academy where children from Nigeria, Kenya, Jamaica, and Brazil learn together about African science, history, and entrepreneurship. Imagine digital libraries filled with African-authored books, documentaries, and lectures accessible to every child with an internet connection. This is not a dream. It is something we can build if we commit to it. But Pan-African education must go beyond subjects. It must prepare young Africans for independence. Children should be taught practical skills like farming, coding, business management, and problem solving. They should learn to innovate, to question, and to lead. Education should not just prepare students to work for someone else's system, but to create new systems for Africa's development. At the heart of Pan-African education is also spirituality and values. Our ancestors valued community, respect for elders, and harmony with nature. Teaching these values grounds children in their identity. It shows them that being African is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be celebrated. So what can we do next? Parents can start by including African books in their homes, teaching African proverbs, and showing films that celebrate African culture. Communities can create after-school programs or Saturday schools focused on African languages, drumming, dance, and history. Leaders and educators can push for Pan-African studies in national curricula, ensuring every child learns the truth about Africa's greatness. We must also encourage homeschooling networks across borders, where Pan-African parents support each other with resources, lesson plans, and cultural exchanges. When African children across the world grow up with the same knowledge and pride, the dream of unity becomes real. Because, in the end, education is nation building. If our children grow up believing they are weak, they will act weak. But if they grow up knowing they descend from kings, queens, warriors, and scholars, they will build a future worthy of that legacy. The time has come to reclaim education, to make it Pan-African, to make it empowering, and to make it ours. If you believe in building a new African education system, then join this movement. Like this video, share it with other parents, and subscribe for more Pan-African content. Together, we can raise a generation of Africans who are not only educated, but liberated.